Hello, citizens, and welcome to another episode of an Avionics Technician's Guide. My professional experience between the MV-22 Osprey, both the 737 MAX and NG, and now the KC-46 Pegasus has made me enjoy analyzing the ships within the verse. For returning viewers and subscribers, your timestamp is in the description and pinned comment. But if you are new to my channel or Star Citizen and you would like a better understanding of the basics and how things currently work in the verse, then consider subscribing and turning on all those notifications so you never miss anything. And to further optimize your knowledge of the verse, be sure to check out other videos in my channel because they're all here to guide you to success. And if you end up enjoying this series, then please tell me what ship you would like to see next in the comments below. Now, enough of the gibberish. Let's analyze the ship in full detail, the Aegis Sabre. Today we'll start off with a pre-flight walk-around where we examine the weapons package and exterior of the ship. We'll quickly look at the flight deck, analyze the flight performance, the components, go over some of my personal loadouts and recommendations, and wrap up the video with my final thoughts on the ship. Let's begin. The Sabre is Aegis' premier stealth fighter. Now, many things come to mind, from the sleek, slim design, giving your opponent a small surface area to work with, or the devastating firepower combined with the well-placed hardpoint locations to minimize them getting shot off, or even the speed and agility combined with the future stealth gameplay once it's been fine-tuned, and yet still small enough to be placed inside a carrier. But the ship does come with a hefty price tag of $170. And with that being said, is it really worth the price placed on it? Well, let's get a closer look and discuss the ship as we start our pre-flight walk-around. I'll see you on the ground. Starting off our walk-around, to the front of the ship we have our first weapon hardpoint being a fixed size 3 repeater on either side. Moving to the right side of the ship, we have the engine intake with the leading edge structure just in front. Next up is yet another size 3 hardpoint with another fixed size 3 gun equipped on either side for a grand total of 4 guns. Moving further right is the wing sweep design complete with flight control surfaces and what seems to be vortex generators which reduce airflow separation, which helps reduce atmospheric drag. Now to the rear of the ship are your engines, your countermeasure buckets, and the canted vertical stabilizers above and below. Now, since the Sabre is a stealth fighter, the nature of the canted vert stabs actually help with radar cross-section reduction. And now to the belly of the ship is the missiles. The Sabre has an internal missile bay holding 4 size 3 missiles. This helps reduce atmospheric drag, and yet again, further assists with radar cross-section reduction. And finally, we have the landing gear with the skid design. Now with our walk-around complete, let's move to the flight deck. In the flight deck, we have the multiple MFDs at your disposal, and along with your inner thought switches, and with 3.8, like other ships in the game, it now has its annunciator panel. The flight deck overall has decent visibility. I have no complaints in this area. And also, like most light fighters, the Sabre includes an ejection seat. Now, with our flight deck inspection complete, let's take her for a spin. I'll see you back in the air. Now, when it comes to performance of this ship, it stacks up well against other lighter fighters. Compared to the Gladius and Arrow, the ship is a bit less maneuverable, but for me, I prefer this because I rather feel more graceful and less sporadic with my movements. In atmosphere, the ship holds its airspeed well, even with those quick sharp turns you can perform. Furthermore, your SCM speed is 208 meters a second, and your top speed is 1,235 meters a second. This is exceptionally well, especially for the Sabre being classified as a stealth ship. Now, let's take a look at the components. The Sabre has almost all stealth class and grade C size 1 components, being a drift quantum drive, 2 bracer coolers, these are not stealth classed, has 3 shimmer shield generators, and the ship has 2 sonic light power plants. As for now, to save money, I kept the original coolers and changed out all the other components. And remember this, in 3.8 the quantum drives now are decent. Now I would recommend finding one that has better fuel efficiency over the current one that's in place by default. For the power plants, I chose a Starheart competition power plant, giving me the most power available. And for my shield generators, I chose 2 Palisades and 1 FR66 for the combo. Palisades give me a higher health pool, and the FR66 gives me the faster regen I desire. Now just remember, you don't need to follow what I did to heart. As a 3.8, it is very possible to run a A-grade stealth build, as it was intended. It is also very possible that one day a certain component class will be locked to a certain type of ship, such as a stealth component only being allowed to be placed on a stealth grade ship. Only time will tell. Anyways, to learn more about ship components, then please check out my personal video on how components work after this one. Now, let's discuss those tactics, loadouts, and those recommendations. Now currently, the meta has been gimbal mass drivers as of 3.7. However, meta in an early alpha like this is always subject to change. For me personally, I prefer rounds down range for a ship like this, so I use gimbaled size 2 attritions. And for fleet operations, I use gimbaled size 2 GT215 Gatling repeaters. My goal is to overwhelm the enemy, not to solo it, but be in a group. While the Sabre can solo opponents with ease, my tactics, being a light fighter pilot, is being a force multiplier, and also perform recon from the mothership. So for me, my sweet spot for target engagement is about 500 meters out to 1 kilometers out with the guns. But the Sabre can be a brawler if you combine close range guns with the proper shield generators. So with that being said, if you use shield generators with a high health pool, such as running 3 palisades, it is expensive, but it will keep the job done. So please keep this in mind. Now for the missiles department, since they are internal, I don't alter this loadout by swapping the racks. You can feel free to do so in this area, but for me, I feel like size 3s are perfect for what I'm trying to do. Anyways, to learn more about customizing your ship so you can fit those guns and missiles, then check out my tutorial on how ship hardpoints work after this one. Now just remember, all I'm trying to do is give you, the viewer, my recommendations on how I use the ship. So if you find or buy a loadout and you have a strategy that already fits you, then use it, because at the end of the day, it is always your choice. Now, as for my own thoughts on the ship with the analysis we just went through, this honestly reminds me of the F-86 Sabre. With the wing sweep design, it is able to handle its speed well at sharp turns gracefully without worrying about bleeding too much airspeed. It is also, in my opinion, borderline almost a medium fighter. For me, this will be my carrier-based fighter once fuel has been tweaked more for the gameplay. I would recommend this for anyone who is interested in the further stealth gameplay and still wants a ship that can still be durable and doesn't cost too much. Now, it's also important to ask yourself what type of role in combat you want to play. Do you want to be the pure brawler that's in your face? Do you want to sit back from far away? Do you want to perform recon and do fighting at the same time? Because remember, the Sabre can do both of these depending on your component and hardpoint configuration. Now, even though it does cost around $170 US, if you have a pocket carrier like a Kraken or even have an Idris, then adding a carrier-based fighter such as this would be a perfect happy medium in my opinion. Now, in my personal opinion, this ship does stack really well compared to other fighters that are within its weight class and some that are a little bit above. And also, depending on your shield config again, it can also increase your survivability. And also, as of 3.8, the dreaded zoom effect in the flight deck has been fixed. Now, even with all the bells and whistles, the ship still hasn't got its stealth advantages yet, and other supporting mechanics like the damage system and the field gameplay are not in. So while in the current builds the ship is superior in ways, the ship could change at CIG's discretion until the game has been fully released. The ship can also be rented in-game and be used in Arena Commander as well. So like I always recommend, try it before you buy it. But of course, it is your journey overall, ladies and gents, so use the ship however you please. As always, I thank you for the love and support. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please take the time to like it and share it with anybody who would find this helpful. Also, tell me your own thoughts on the Sabre in the comments below. And again, feel free to subscribe. Remember, citizens, your subscriptions help me reach out even further to the community so they also can benefit from my content. And if you like to, you can further support me on Patreon. It's never necessary, but it's always appreciated. But until next time, fellow citizens, I will see you on the flip side.